Okay, picture this. 2005, someone invests $12.7 million in this tiny college startup.
Just getting off the ground, really.
Exactly. And then fast forward just 8 years, maybe less, 2013, that same investment, it's suddenly worth $8 billion.
$8 billion. It's staggering, isn't it?
It really is. So the big question we're tackling today is, how did this one bet, this single decision made when pretty much everyone else was skeptical, how did it completely rewrite the rules of venture capital?
Yeah, how did that happen?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're digging into something, well, truly remarkable. It's a single investment decision that didn't just change one person's life, but arguably, the entire tech landscape.
We're talking about Jim Breyer, the venture capitalist, and his huge bet on Facebook.
Right, his pivotal investment in Facebook. And look, this wasn't just some lucky guess. It was this mix of, incredible vision, perfect timing, and this just unshakable belief in something the world hadn't quite wrapped its head around yet.
Not at all. Most people were missing it.
So our mission here, for you listening, it's not just about understanding how this one move reshaped Breyer's career or, helped turn Facebook into the giant it is today.
Although that's part of the story, of course.
Definitely. But more importantly, it's about uncovering what you can learn from it. What are the hidden lessons buried under all those billions that maybe you can apply to your own decisions, your own bets?
That's the real takeaway, I think.
Okay, let's dive in then. Let's set the scene. 2005, Facebook. It was barely out of the dorm room.
16 months old, something like that?
Yeah, just 16 months old. They just dropped the from the Facebook. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, the Facebook. Seems ancient now.
And it was only on a few elite college campuses. Critically, there was no business model. Zero revenue, basically. And honestly, no clear product plan beyond connecting students.
Right. And the established VC world. They were, let's just say, highly skeptical.
Overwhelmingly. They just saw it as another fad. Like, it's the next Friendster, maybe MySpace. It'll burn out.
Which is exactly what makes Breyer's move so, radical. He leads Excel Partners to put in $12.7 million when Facebook's valuation was, under $100 million.
Tiny by today's standards.
Tiny. But here's the kicker, the part that really shows his belief. Breyer personally threw in an extra $1 million of his own money.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, not just the fund's money. His own. That's not just signing off on a deal. That's putting serious personal skin in the game. It's a huge statement of conviction.
That really tells you something, doesn't it? And he wasn't some newcomer. Breyer was already, a top-tier investor. He'd had big wins, Real Networks, Walmart.com, Bright Cove.
He had a track record, serious credibility.
So what was he seeing? What was different? He had this philosophy, apparently, that the biggest wins come from spotting these behavioral inflection points before everyone else does.
Spotting how people's behavior is about to fundamentally change.
Exactly. And for Facebook, he wasn't just seeing a social website. He saw infrastructure. He called it a digital identity layer, like a platform that could actually be the foundation for how people connect and build trust online. Globally.
So it's such a different frame.
Yeah.
Infrastructure, not just social media. And you have to remember the noise surrounding that decision back then.
Oh, I bet.
Critics were loud, calling the deal irresponsible. One rival VC supposedly said, it's a kid's toy, not a company. Imagine hearing that.
Yeah, intense pressure.
But Breyer,
yeah,
he just stayed focused. Focused on what Facebook could be, not what it was right then. His thinking wasn't driven by spreadsheets showing zero revenue. It was driven by things he called founder energy, user obsession, and that cultural fit, that product market fit in culture.
He was reading the cultural tea leaves almost.
You could say that. Looking at the resonance, yeah.
And the result,
yeah.
We know the result. It was absolutely historic. Facebook goes public in 2012, market cap over $100 billion. And that $12.7 million bet
returned an estimated $8 billion for Excel. Just wow.
It really is.
It's just such a powerful example of what you might call, behavioral courage.
Behavioral courage. I like that.
Yeah, betting against literally everyone. Putting your own money down alongside your belief. And then just enduring the ridicule while your big idea plays out.
Mm-hmm.
This wasn't just being smart with money. It shows the incredible value of, vision and pure conviction when they override the spreadsheets and the consensus.
That idea of vision over spreadsheets, it sounds great. But doing it, that's the hard part. How do you even build that kind of trust in your gut when all the normal signs are flashing red?
Well, I think it comes down to playing a different game. Breyer didn't focus just on speed like a lot of VCs do. He talked about the importance of position in time.
Position in time. What does that mean exactly?
It means he'd spent, over 20 years in venture capital by then. He'd seen the dot-com bubble burst, seen booms and busts. He learned to position himself not just in a market, but for these huge underlying shifts in technology itself.
Okay. Tectonic shifts.
Exactly. And by 2005, he saw social networking wasn't just a fun trend anymore. It was evolving into something fundamental. He called it a utility.
A utility, like water or electricity, but for social connection. That's a really interesting way to frame it.
It changes how you look at it, right?
Definitely. So he wasn't just looking at the website itself, but the trajectory, the growth curve, the underlying data. What did that data even look like back then? It seemed pretty thin.
Well, thin on revenue, sure. But even that early, Facebook had something like over 2 million users. And they weren't just signing up. They were logging in daily.
So the engagement.
Yeah, for connection, for their identity online. He talked about its stickiness, that users just kept coming back as being unlike anything we'd ever seen in consumer tech. That was the data point that mattered to him, not the lack of a payment model yet.
Okay, so the engagement metrics were off the charts, even if the business model wasn't there.
Precisely. And that pointed towards strategic patience being key.
Right. He wasn't playing for a quick flip and acquisition. He was thinking bigger, like building an empire, as the source material put it.
Absolutely. And Excel showed incredible discipline. Didn't cash out early, even when people were offering them really good money for their shares in secondary deals.
That takes guts when the offer is tempting.
It does. But holding on. That discipline is what made Excel NYX, the fund with the Facebook investment, one of the best performing VC funds in history. It just hammers home that point. The truly massive returns, the asymmetric ones, they often come from holding on, holding longer than feels logical, maybe longer than feels comfortable, definitely longer than your envious peers might advise.
It's about seeing the wave coming, preparing, and then just riding it out without panicking.
Riding it without flinching, exactly, even when it gets choppy.
So moving on to his habits, his behaviors, Breyer's approach really seems different. A lot of VCs keep that professional distance safe. But Breyer, you said it, he invests conviction.
Yeah, it's more than just capital.
And the biggest symbol of that, we keep coming back to it, is that $1 million, his own money, into Facebook, totally separate from the Excel fund check.
It's huge. It's not just saying, I believe in this. It's saying, I'm staking my own financial future and my reputation on this.
How does that change things practically, having that level of personal commitment?
Well, the thinking is, it fundamentally changes your behavior. When you've got that much personal skin in the game, you just fight harder, think deeper. You weather the inevitable storms, the volatility, with a completely different kind of focus.
You're all in.
Totally. And we know Breyer wasn't passive. He spent countless hours with the early Facebook team, guiding them, shielding them sometimes from, bad deals, and always pushing them to think long term.
So it wasn't just the money, it was the mentorship too.
Deep mentorship. And this wasn't a one-off approach for him. It reflects a broader discipline. He's described as being obsessive about clarity, preferring to really concentrate his energy and conviction on a few things rather than scattering bets everywhere.
Quality over quantity.
Right. He actually said something like, I'd rather miss 20 good deals than chase one I don't fully believe in.
Wow. That's focus. And you have to imagine that level of commitment, that constant presence, it must build incredible trust with the founders he backs.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
They know he's not just a checkbook. They know he's genuinely walking beside them, invested in their success on a personal level.
That makes sense.
That $1 million, it was symbolic, yeah, but it represented this relentless conviction. And maybe, just maybe, that conviction itself is his biggest advantage. It's not just about picking winners. It's about backing them with your whole being. That's a different way to operate.
Which leads perfectly into his sort of core philosophy, right? This idea of being far more interested in what will be than what is.
Exactly. He seems to operate with this like radical independence, acting from his own internal vision, not just reacting to what everyone else is doing or saying.
Which requires ignoring a lot of noise. We have to remember, over a dozen VCs turned Zuckerberg down before Excel stepped up.
Yeah, more than a dozen. They all saw a college fad, dismissed it.
But Breyer had this different filter. This simple but really powerful question he asked for every decision. Does this change the way people live?
Think about that. Not, will this make money quickly? Or is this popular? But does this fundamentally change human behavior?
He was optimizing for impact, long-term impact, not just short-term praise or validation.
Exactly.
That's a profound filter. But how do you actually apply that day to day when maybe the numbers, the immediate feedback, are telling you something else?
Well, it means you have to be willing, consistently, to take the road not yet paved. You see it throughout his career. He aligns with these truly transformational technologies. He pushes founders to aim for moonshots, not just incremental improvements. And look at his move after Facebook's IPO success. He starts Breyer Capital. What does he focus on? AI, health tech, digital identity.
Yeah.
Way before those became the hot VC trends they are now.
He was already seeing the next waves.
He was choosing the path before it was paved, before it was obvious. But here's the catch. Choosing vision over validation. It often means you look wrong. For a while.
Right. You're holding these unpopular beliefs. You might feel like you're walking alone.
That's the price of that kind of foresight, maybe.
So connecting that back for people listening, maybe the lesson is that the truly great decisions, the game-changing ones, they often feel uncomfortable at first.
Yeah. There's usually no applause in the beginning. It's just your intuition, maybe some early data nobody else values yet, and silence.
Breyer's story kind of reminds us to trust the idea before the world does. Because sometimes, maybe often, the most powerful moves get made quietly without fanfare.
In that silence, yeah.
It's also interesting, for someone with such massive impact, Jim Breyer isn't exactly a household name like some other tech figures. He's not loud. He rarely does interviews.
He operates differently. He seems to understand a different kind of power. Not the power of the spotlight, but power that flows through trust, access, strategic positioning, building leverage quietly.
Yeah. So after the huge Facebook win, he didn't just retire to an island. He launched Breyer Capital in 2013, still focused on vision, but expanding his reach globally, building partnerships in China, India, looking for that next wave of foundational technologies.
Deeper, not necessarily wider or louder.
Right.
And think about his board seats. Walmart, Dell, Marvel, Fox, Blackstone, Spotify. These weren't just collecting prestigious names.
No. What was the strategy there?
They seem to have been strategic bridges, connecting dots between evolving consumer habits, enterprise tech, media, finance, understanding the whole ecosystem.
Got it. Seeing the connections across industries.
And it says a lot that major institutions like Harvard University, he serves on the Harvard Corporation or Blackstone, brought him onto their boards. They wanted his guidance navigating, really uncertain futures. He's the person you call when you need to see around the corner.
The quiet influencer.
Exactly. He models this approach for younger investors. Low ego, high focus, deep conviction. It kind of redefines VC power. It's not about shouting the loudest. It's about this long, quiet alignment with the really big seismic shifts.
That restraint becomes a kind of superpower.
I think so. It lets him shape things without needing to dominate. Real power, maybe, doesn't need the spotlight. It just needs to be aligned with the right people, the right timing, the right purpose.
Of course, even with that long-term view, there are always moments of crisis, moments that test that conviction. For Breyer, the big one was probably Facebook's IPO in 2012.
Oh, yeah. That was rough. The stock tanks almost immediately, drops nearly 50%, from $38 down below $20.
And the media went nuts. Headlines screaming flop, everyone questioning if Facebook could ever make money on mobile. The pressure on Breyer and Excel, who had held on for so long, must have been immense.
Incredible pressure. They were being second-guessed everywhere. Why didn't you sell earlier? Is this whole thing overvalued?
But Breyer, what did he do?
He didn't flinch, didn't sell Excel's shares, didn't go on TV defending himself. He just let the fundamentals speak for themselves over time. He understood deep down that temporary volatility is the price of permanent outperformance.
That is hard-earned wisdom right there. How many people in that spot, with billions potentially evaporating, would have hit the panic button?
Very few, I suspect. Very few would have that composure.
And we know how it played out. Facebook did figure out mobile monetization massively. They scaled globally. They made those huge acquisitions, Instagram, WhatsApp.
And by 2013, that original $12.7 million from Excel was worth the $8 billion we talked about. Breyer's personal slice, maybe around $800 million. Patience paid off, big time.
And that long game thinking didn't stop with Facebook, did it?
Not at all. Post-Facebook, he leaned into complexity, focused Breyer Capital on really hard stuff, AI, deep tech, complex cross-border deals in areas like, say, cancer diagnostics or decentralized computing. He was already positioning for relevance for the next 20 years.
Always looking ahead.
He seems to view crisis almost as clarity, a filter. When things are chaotic, when everyone else is distracted or emotional, that's when the long thinkers, as he calls them, can really get work done.
He actually said something profound about that, didn't he?
Yeah, something like, the most important decisions are often made when things are falling apart, and most people are too emotional to think straight.
Wow. That really makes you think. So the takeaway isn't that long-term players are faster, it's that they're calmer.
Calmer, yeah. They understand that the truly great results come from just staying coherent, staying focused, right through the middle of the storm.
So wrapping this up, Jim Breyer's legacy. It isn't really about being the loudest or chasing the hottest trend. It's about listening carefully when others weren't, believing deeply when others doubted, and acting decisively before it felt safe or obvious.
That $12.7 million Facebook bet, it wasn't a lottery ticket. It was the result of decades spent honing this ability to see what others overlook, to trust conviction when others demand consensus, and to just endure when the crowd inevitably panics.
The deeper truth here, maybe, is that the ultimate asset isn't just capital, it's clarity.
Clarity, yeah. And that includes what? The ability to sit still while everything else is speeding up, the courage to stand alone with an idea, the discipline to wait patiently for that rare world-changing opportunity, and then, when it arrives, to go all in.
Breyer's story is a powerful reminder that, real success, transformative success, it isn't always loud or flashy, especially at the start. It often grows in silence, in patience, in the unpopular choice.
Those true visionaries, they seem to operate not for applause, but for impact.
So the question we want to leave you with after hearing all this, what's your version of a $12.7 million bet? And we don't just mean money, we mean in your belief, your time, your energy.
What future do you see, maybe dimly, that others don't quite get yet?
And what are you willing to truly commit to long before it's proven, long before the applause comes? Something to think about. Stay curious, everyone, and stay long term.